Hello again, it's Wendy from Summer Bay Studio. Today I'm doing something that I've never done before on this channel. I've been wanting for some time to work more with acrylic paints. And so today I thought I would try something that I also have not done before. Now, I've had acrylic paints for a long time and I've used them a lot, a fair amount in the past. But then I had to kind of put things on the shelf and concentrate on, different things in life. But now I want to get back into using acrylics and as well as watercolors and junk journals and paper crafts and collaging and just expose myself and you to some different ways of using paint, paper, ink, and getting inspiration, like it says on my tagline. So this week I went out and kind of loaded up on some new acrylic paints. Now, I'm just going to move my canvas here. I have had these tubes for a long time and I dug them out of a drawer, and then I went and found some more of these different colors and different makes because I want to try some different things, and I got some metallics and just some different things to try. And that's a great place to start. So if you're a beginner, consider yourself in the same club as me, because I'm almost starting over with using acrylics and I'm very excited about doing this. So today, I'm just going to move this out of the way. I also picked up this multi-palette, which is disposable palette paper, and it's kind of like almost a waxed surface, so I'm going to use that to put my paint on and to mix it. And this is a little canvas that I've had. I bought a little pack of them some time ago, and I've gone over it with gesso and let it dry. I don't know if that's completely necessary, but I felt like it was the right thing to do, a little bit, smooth the surface out a little bit, which is fine. Today I'm going to try doing a loose floral. I want to start by just doing a little bit of a sketch, and I'm using a pencil crayon here, which is a Prismacolor one, just to kind of sketch in some shapes. So this is kind of roses or peonies or whatever it turns out to be. And the leaves will kind of go around it somewhere. You won't see these pencil lines when I'm finished. That's my plan anyway. So this is total experimentation at the moment, kind of freehand stuff, and let's just see where it goes. So I'm starting with a magenta. I want to use some fairly strong colors, which I think this absolutely does qualify. And I've got this Amsterdam in quinacridone rose because it's rose season. My garden is full of roses, and it's a beautiful time for florals. I've got another one called Persian Rose, which is a pale pink. And I'm just going to put some colors out here that I know I'm going to want to use. This one is a Liquitex unbleached titanium, which is a beautiful creamy color. And I also will probably be using some of this blue. In fact, I'm pretty definite about that. This is what's called primary cyan. And a phthalo blue, which is one of my favorite colors. So I'm just going to start out like this and put some colors out here. In fact, I'm going to put my basket over here so it's a little bit easier to grab things. I will want some white at some point. A bit hard. It could be that it's getting old, because like I said, I've had these for a long time. But I do have another white as well, I think, in here. And here's a nice yellow, primary yellow this is called. So I'm putting lots of colors out here, and that way I can just grab them as I go along. That one is really similar to cadmium yellow light. And then I bought this one, which is a brilliant yellow. Oh, it's still got a seal on it. So we'll get rid of that little doodad. And see how this one compares to the cadmium yellow. It's almost more of a lemon yellow. So I'm not sure if I'll use it as well. Oh, look at that. What a beautiful color. And then one of my favorite yellows is a Naples yellow. It's one of my favorites in watercolor. This has a little seal on it as well. So like I said, I'm kind of just freehanding this, and basically we'll see what comes up. So I'll move that out of my way. I've got my water in my old jar, and I bought some new brushes as well, some different sizes, and I just bought a set of fairly inexpensive brushes. I like the shorter ones better than longer handles, just because I'm working small and probably will for some time. So and that's basically because I have a space limitation in my house. My studio is part of my house, and it wants to take over, and I would love for it to take over, but that's frowned upon with the people that want to use the living room as a living room. Can't imagine why. He doesn't want me to take over the house with art. I was reading a magazine the other day where the woman said she had her studio in the middle of the house, and I thought, I was telling my husband this, I looked around and he gave me a don't you dare look. So I'm starting with this magenta, and I'm using it pretty strong. I have water in my brush, but not very much. Smush that around a little bit so I can get some more fluidity out of it. I don't want the white to show through at all. And like I said, I'm kind of making this up as I go along. I have watched a few videos that I love, and I've just been going, okay, well, there's some ideas. And basically I'm just playing with ideas right now. Don't want this to show white, which it keeps wanting to do. Okay, I'll take some of that out of there, out of the paint, out of the brush. Now there's still a little bit left in here, which is okay, and I'm going to try this pink. That's pretty gorgeous too. And it's okay if they kind of run in together. Put a little bit in the center here as well. And now I'm picking up some of the lighter pink. So this could be like peonies or roses. Like I said, my roses are blooming like crazy in my garden this year. They've just been spectacular, and I keep hoping it won't rain, because when it rains it often just turns the blossoms to pulp. Now I'm adding a little bit of the lighter colors in here. I think I'll put some in here too, because with roses and peonies and whatever, they tend to have the deeper colors in the center, and this is still wet, so I can just mix it in together like that. And let me see, this one could benefit from a little bit of, put a little bit more of this in here. The lovely thing about acrylics is that you can paint over anything and everything. Okay, so I'm going to, this still has quite a bit of paint on it. I'm going to leave it on there. And I'm going to just put it in the water and see what happens. Now, oh, I know what I want here. I didn't put out the greens. So I want some green. This one is, what do they call this one? Permanent Green Deep. And this one is Brilliant Green. Okay, so a different brush. It seems to have sizing in it or something, so I'm going to take that out of there and get my trusty rag here and just get all that out of there. Put that down there. And now I want to put in some blue kind of around where the leaves are going to go. The blue and green kind of together here. Need some more fluidity to get it going. I love these colors. So even though I'm not going to be able to see what was underneath here once I paint over it, just having painted it there, I kind of know where it is. And, you know, basically you can freehand stuff as well, also known as making it up as you go along, or responding to what's happening on the canvas or the paper. And I'm going to just go around these flowers and grab some more of this phthalo blue because I want it to be fairly intense. And I'm filling it in and just not going over the edges of the flowers, because when I come back to it, they'll probably end up being over top of this anyway, so that doesn't matter very much. Just kind of mixing these on the palette and on with the brush as I go along. I'm not painting over the edge right now because I will probably go over it and paint it black at a later date, like when everything's dry. So how is everyone today? We had some beautiful days and then now it's cold again. And where I live, which is close to Vancouver in British Columbia, when at this time of year when the sun is out, it's warm and almost summery, almost, because it depends where the air masses are coming from, whether it's cold, like cool, or really warm. But when it really clouds over, it's like a mile thick duvet over top of everything, and no warmth gets through, believe me. So some days are like that, and you think, well, yesterday it was so hot, and today it's you know, I had the furnace on because the house got cold overnight from all this cold air coming down from the Arctic. If you live in the US and you think the cold air comes from Canada, it doesn't. It comes from the Arctic, which, you know, happens to be in Canada, but we think of it as Arctic air, not like we're responsible for it. There, that gives me kind of a basis and a background, and I think I will also throw some in here, which may or may not end up staying like that. That's a bit too much. Just using the corner of my brush at the moment. There. Now I'm going to use a smaller brush, and I got a round one in this little set that I picked up. So this, it doesn't even have a number on it. These are cheap brushes. I think I got 3 or 4 for $15. And I want to put in some yellow accents, and we have snapdragons growing in our yard right now. And on the weekend, it was the long weekend in May. Well, the long weekend here is the third weekend in May. It's Victoria Day, which is Queen Victoria's birthday. You might ask, what? Why are we still celebrating a dead queen's birthday? Well, we actually celebrate our current queen's birthday, and it just happened to stay the same day. Now I'm going to try this goopy white and see if I can make anything happen with it. I do have more, but I thought I would try this. So I want these to be a bit lighter, but it's not really depositing very well. However, that's okay. Just going to get most of that off the brush by just wiping it here. Now then, I want, let me see, I'll do another little stalk with this yellow. Take some of the moisture out of the brush. I could wait for everything to dry, which would take a while. I mean, acrylics dry pretty quickly, but I kind of want to keep going. So where else? I think I'll put one of these over here too. Pick up a little bit of Naples yellow. I think I'll leave that like that for now. Now I've left the paint in here. I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do or not, but I just left it there, and I'm just soaking out as much of the water as I can without taking up too much of the paint. I'm basically using watercolor techniques. That's what I want. I want the center of the flower to be intense. So things where I live are starting to gradually open after COVID, which is great. It's taken a long time. We've been in don't visit anybody mode for the last few months, which means I haven't been able to see my family, me and everybody else around here. Can't see our family. So now the COVID numbers have gone down significantly. So they've opened things up a little bit. Restaurants can open again, and I can go visit somebody, like my children and grandchildren. I have two little grandchildren who are just a joy. All right, now I'm going to make the leaves here, leaf shapes, in amongst this background, because I remember where I put them. I'm using this round brush to give me outlines. Don't want this canvas. You can see the texture of the canvas, but I don't want that to show through. I do want this to go right up into there though. And I want the leaves to stand out against that blue. However, rose leaves are actually kind of a mid-green, mid to dark green. Yeah, I'm looking out my window right now at them, and they're not as bright a green as this. Do I want one out there? I think it needs something for balance, so we'll put one off the edge here. Maybe one there too. Being careful of my snapdragon. There, I like that. Now I want to fill in these areas here that are white, because I don't want any white to be showing on the roses or between them or anything like that. And why doesn't this want to fill in? I want, what am I doing? I want this darker green in here. The dark green and the dark blue, because this is a shadowed area. I think this is really coming together. I'm liking it. However, I need to get rid of some of this paint and clean out my brush. Let that soak there for a second and find my black. Now, I did buy black, or I do have black. There's also some brown. This is burnt umber. There we go, carbon black and carbon black. Okay, I'm going to put some of these out. That drop can stay. I'm not too worried about that one. A little bit of this burnt umber and some carbon black. I'm basically kind of trying everything out. So, except for maybe this blue. I bought that blue because I love the color, but I'm not sure it's going to work in this painting. You know how it is. You kind of learn as you go along. You pick things up. Now, inside of a rose is, you know what? I'm just going to go look at one. I was thinking that they had some black in there, and they do, but it's very, very tiny. Mostly it's a yellow and not a very bright one. So I'm going to take that off there and just put some little, this is the Naples yellow here. Some of them won't be open enough, so I won't put anything in there, but I will pick up a little bit of black, a little bit of brown, put some water in that, see what happens. So a little bit, some little dots like this. I think that's probably good enough. Now I want a darker color in maybe the center of this one. And I do have a crimson red. So let's see what that looks like. There we go. That's kind of dazzling. What I want to do is put some more dimension in the leaves, and I want a flat brush for that. And so I'll clean out this one that I just used with the pinks. See if I can get all the paint out of there. Works best if I do it underwater, running water, but I don't have that option at the moment without going to the sink, because I don't have a sink in my studio space. One day, my goal is to have a dedicated studio space. Okay, I'm not really liking that. I want some more. I want some more of this light green. Don't really want the blue on the background to show through, because then my leaves won't stand out from it. I want them to really stand out from that background. So when I paint over whatever's here, I have to do it with kind of a light touch, because otherwise it kind of presses the paint into the grain of the canvas. See right there? I don't want to have to scrub it in, which means I have to put it on more thickly. And that's great. I think those are looking a little bit better. But in order to really stand out, I need a different color in the background. So I will open this blue and see what we can do with it. This is Sky Blue Light by Amsterdam Acrylics. Just going to clean some of that out of my brush, the bright green that I had in there, because I want to mix this with this and make this background bluer. Some of this blue as well, which is the phthalo blue. And I want to take some of it up into here as well. Put a little bit of brown in there just to darken it up. That's the burnt umber, so that it's very shadowed around the flowers. And then in here, just take more of this. I don't generally mind having white show, like in watercolors. I really like that. But here, look at this. I've got a hair. I could use a bigger brush, but it's I want to get into some small spaces here. Now I'm thinking that this blue is a bit too much of a departure. So I think I will stay with this, the phthalo blue, and get some of that green in there. So that it's like a bush, right? Let's get that white stuff from the canvas from showing. I don't want it to look like this too brush strokey, you know what I mean? I like dab better than stroke. And my little snapdragons, I think they look pretty cute. These lights of mine make me so hot. You kind of need them for video because otherwise everything just looks kind of dark. But whew, I'm getting warm here, which is good because it's a cold day. So it's nice to have a little bit of warmth. I want to get rid of that the white edges. Okay, we're getting there. I like it. I like it. It's coming along. Let's get a little bit of this darker green in here because foliage is green. Now, the question is, what else does it need? I need to obliterate this white. And in here, because it looks like it's kind of undone. And I also want some pink to show up here. So I'm trying very hard not to pick up any green from or blue from around where I've just been. And I want more depth in here. And a little bit more in here. And by depth, I mean depth of paint, like thickness, because I don't want it to show that. I don't know why. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that if that's your thing. I'm finding that it's not mine. So I'm just going to go over some of these areas with thicker paint so that I can get rid of those like this. Just kind of pressing it in there. There, I don't think it really needs much else. I think maybe I will add a little bit to the snapdragons so that they're a bit whiter. And I'm gonna do that with this skinny brush again. And I haven't even used this one, but I'm going to come back to that because I want to take some of the darker green and just make leaf directions here. Just have to kind of pop it in like hit and run. Otherwise it starts mixing with what's underneath, which in this case is the light green, and I don't really want that. I feel like some little streaks of green might be appropriate in here. I like that, yeah, that works. And also here, and maybe here. Okay, and let's take that off the brush. Give it a really good swish. My water is getting very dirty, very painty. Okay, I had to take a little break because my camera battery ran out. So while it was charging, I did a few more things on the painting. And what I did was, let me just find a pointer here. I added a little bit more of the lighter blue in here, and I think it just made everything pop a little bit more. And a few little things in the center and more yellow in these flowers here. And I'm really happy with it. It was really fun for me to do. I hope you'll give something like this a try if you're interested. Just follow along. It wasn't that hard, and there are no mistakes. That's the wonderful thing. Please subscribe to my channel and click the little bell so that you can get notified when I have a new video, and I'll see you next time.